All right, so look, man, I think this is about to be a little bit deeper than I want it to be. Anyway, this right here is the father who killed his whole entire family, bruh. Let alone one person, the whole entire family. I had to jump into this, man. I ain't laughing, I ain't joking, man. This is a serious matter. We about to hop straight into this joint, though, man. Make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man.
They say having a happy family is but an earlier heaven. All else comes second for a man who has a loving partner and children. With that said, it is bizarre to most that some parents can abandon or abuse their.
Like I said, this ain't no joke. But the thing that killed me, you take a picture crying. Like say you get on Facebook and you see somebody on there just crying and weeping and da-da. You took the time to take a picture or a video of yourself crying, bro. Like that right there be like, nah, nah, a fucking clown. But not her in particular. That just came to my head when I seen a picture of her crying. It's just like, if it's that bad, man, call the police. Don't sit there and be crying and taking pictures and shit. Like,
Their family. But have you ever heard of those who kill their own family? Taking
no.
another one's life is crazy enough, but to take a family member's life is just unfathomable.
That's exactly what I
Well,
just
today's
said.
case not only killed his wife, but also went ahead to claim the lives of his 5 children. Why did he do what he did? What were the repercussions of his wild actions? Welcome back to Twisted Minds. My name is James, and today we will be looking at the case
up,
of a
James?
man named Misak Damas. Misak Damas was an
Killed his 5 children as Buck. Wow.
American citizen. He was born on the 2nd of July, 1976, which meant he would be just 33 years old at the time of his crimes in 2009. Flowing from the stories of several other criminals, it can be observed that they all have some form of emotional trauma, physical abuse, or family issues. And this man has proven to be no exception to this precedent. The early stages of a child's growth are so important as they make up a huge part of who that child will turn out to be. Simply put, many of these criminals are merely adults with scars from their childhood. Of course, most people with intense childhood traumas don't become criminals in their later lives. It is simply no excuse, but it must be addressed when discussing how the family man in Misak Damas suddenly turned into a terrifying killer. Misak Damas was born in Haiti, where he had a childhood characterized by poverty and violence. To make matters worse, Misak's parents left him in the care of an extended family member when he was only 10 years old. At the time, they were moving to the United States of America, and for some reason, they could not take their son along with them. However, at the age of 19, Damas left Haiti and relocated to the USA to live out the rest of his life. Shortly after, he took up residence in the US and began working as a chef at a local alehouse. He was said to have described himself as the best of the best. For a time, all seemed to be well. Misak would go on to marry Jerline du Damas, and with her, have 5 beautiful children, ranging from 11 months old to 9 years old.
Killed that 11-month-old?
2 days before the murders, his wife had brought up the topic of divorcing him. He said that he had responded by threatening to kill her. The following day, after the discussion of divorce, Damas stalked her to ensure that she went to work. After Jerline caught wind of this, the pair had a heated argument that moved Damas closer to what would become a very tragic case of familicide. Ironically, the husband and wife reportedly attended anger management classes together on that day, which was the 16th of September 2009. The next day, Damas checked in for work for only 2 hours, during and after which he complained that he wasn't feeling well, and he eventually asked for permission to leave. In a later statement, Damas revealed that his supposed illness on that day was a result of him becoming increasingly disturbed and frightened that his wife would eventually leave him. Upon his departure from his place of work,
But why? What was making her want to leave him, though? That's the question. Like, I mean, not even a question, because it don't matter. You still had no right to kill this woman and five of your children. But it just jumped to her straight wanting to leave him and brought up the topic of divorce. But why?
Thomas went to a supermarket and bought a $5 fillet knife and a roll of duct tape, which he would later use to perpetuate his evil, in his own words, act. Footage from the Walmart security cameras shows Damas purchasing his murder weapon of choice. Damas stated that he was hesitant about the idea in his mind, but went home nonetheless. According to him, when he got home, his wife refused to speak to him and only did so when she asked him to sign some immigration papers, informing him that she still intended to leave him. It was at this point that he tied her up, taped her mouth, and murdered her in cold blood. Her autopsy revealed blunt force injuries to her right elbow and right eye, and deep, extensive, sharp force injuries to her left shoulder and neck. Instead of simply owning up to his crime, Damas opted to provide a somewhat laughable explanation for his actions. The then 33-year-old said that his actions were a result of a spell that was placed on him by his mother-in-law and/or a coworker. After killing his wife, Damas decided to take things even further. He proceeded to drag his children to a bedroom upstairs, where he slit their throats, one after the other. After committing these heinous crimes,
How could you?
where he slit their throats, one after the other. After committing these heinous crimes, Misak did not hit the road like a typical criminal would do. Instead, he remained in the house till the following day. Whether he was haunted by what he had done and was too scared to run, or if he stayed to savor the works of his hands, no one knows till this day. Still speaking with police, Damas claims that he contemplated suicide. However, he changed his mind and did the next best thing.
So you killed you've killed all 5 of your kids, beat the hell out of your wife, and all you did was think about killing yourself though? The same way you committed to kill everybody else, you might as well have took yourself out, my brother.
He packed up and drove to the Miami International Airport, where he took a flight back to Haiti because where better to seek refuge than his own home? A few days after the incident, Jerline's family and coworkers became worried as they hadn't heard from her. In addition to that, she had not reported to work, so they filed a missing persons report. After the report was filed, the police swung into action immediately. They proceeded to the Damas family's residence, where they discovered Jerline's body in a bathroom in the house. The body of one of the children, Mizak, who was only 9 years old at the time, was afterwards discovered in a bedroom on the 2nd floor. His autopsy revealed sharp force injuries to the palm of his right hand, as well as extensive sharp force injuries encircling almost the entirety of his neck. In another bedroom on the 2nd floor, the deputies found the bodies of the other 4 children. Marvin, who was only 6 years old, Maven, who was 5 at the time, Megan, who was 3, and Morgan, who was sadly only 11 months old. One of the many things that sparked outrage in the hearts of all who heard this twisted tale was the fact that these children never got to grow up, make decisions, and create pathways for themselves, all because they were unlucky enough to have such a sick and selfish father. All 4 children reportedly sustained sharp force injuries to their neck. The Collier sheriff at the time, Kevin Rambosk, called the killings the most horrific and violent event in county history.
County history? How about world history? I'm finally starting to follow cases like this, but I'm not sitting here knowing everything that go around the world. But how many people is willing to kill their wife and their 5 children? And not just kill them, like you ain't did something that killed them all at the same time, so you ain't have to. He slit their throats, wrists, all type of shit one by one.
On the 23rd of September 2009, Damas was found hiding near a hotel in the capital city of Port-au-Prince. The Haitian National Police captured him based on a request from the FBI's legal attaché in the Dominican Republic. Afterwards, he was extradited to the USA. Upon apprehension, Damas was reported to have said, "I know what I did was wrong. Bad spirits made me do it. You think I want to live after what I did?" In a statement to the Naples Daily News, Damas confessed to murdering his wife and 5 children and stated that he wished to receive the death penalty for his crimes. Following his arrest, Damas was transported back to Collier County by the United States Marshal Service, and there he was incarcerated. Despite his initial confession that he killed his wife and children, Damas later claimed that he did not stab his wife and children. Instead, he maintained the claim that the killings were an out-of-body experience. He said, "They were not my family. I did not see any of their faces. People out here don't understand what it is like to be possessed by demons. In my mind, there is no case against me." Damas's pre- and post-trial period was a pretty strange ordeal, and that is putting it lightly. While his case trial was pending, he began to exhibit strange behavior. MeechGoHamm refused to cooperate with anyone: the court, the attorneys, or jail staff. The court proceeded to appoint 3 experts to evaluate Damas's competence. He was found competent to proceed in June 2011. Afterwards, Damas's behavior became even worse and more bizarre. He was then reevaluated and found incompetent to proceed with the trial on the 19th of March 2014. It was, however, stated that his condition had a substantial probability of responding to the treatment with the goal of restoring his competence to proceed in the reasonably foreseeable future. He was therefore committed to the custody of the Department of Children and Families and admitted into a mental health treatment facility in April 2014.
That's a bell.
In October 2014, roughly 5 years after the tragic event, Damas's competence was found to have been restored by a court order, stating that facility records.
How your competence get restored? They act like this is a video game. You just don't get restored. Y'all let him try to trick the system and act like a nutcase for years.
Note, Damas was aggressive, manipulative, and deceitful, and would engage in cooperative behavior when necessary to get something he wanted. While in custody, Damas took on a moniker of his own making, COG, which is an acronym for Child of God. He also refused to eat and shower for extended periods of time. He was once reported to have gone 30 days without taking a shower. Apparently, the smell from his cell was so bad that sometimes it made his other inmates physically ill. Damas's behavior in the courtroom also attracted much media attention. In August 2010, Damas was reported to have started singing out of nowhere, and he only stopped singing after his lawyer and the presiding judge asked him to relax. He, however, continued singing when the hearing was almost over. On a certain day in June 2017, Damas suddenly rose to his feet and stated that he wanted to represent himself and discharge his attorneys so that he could plead guilty to the charges against him. When his ability to represent himself was checked, he was found incapable because he suddenly began to ramble and speak incoherently and disjointedly. In October 2017, during a hearing, Damas was reported to have written a note to the presiding judge with the words, "Go ahead, continue your work. May my blood be upon your shoulders." He also reportedly signed this note, COG. To prove how crazy and dangerous Damas was, sometimes he secured a safety restraint chair for the safety of staff whenever he was being transported to and from his court appearances. In line with his sick plan, Damas's erratic behavior caused the case to drag on for longer than it ordinarily should have, regardless that it was coming to him in the end. After all, the crimes were committed in 2009, and all these acts dragged the case all the way through 2017.
8 years, bro.
On the 5th of September 2017, over 8 years from the date of the crime, MeechGoHamm Damas pleaded guilty to all 6 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. And on the 27th of October that same year, the judge sentenced Damas to concurrent death sentences on all 6 counts. While pleading guilty, Damas put on one last show by claiming to have loved his children and wife. He said, "I just want to say I'm truly sorry, especially to the family of my wife. I don't see them here today, but I just want to make sure for the record they know that. I know how much they love their sister, their daughter, their grandchildren, and then I want to make sure that everyone knows that I love them the most. I love my people, my wife, and children," he continued. "But this thing happened. I don't have an answer for it. I wish I had an answer for it, but I don't. When I stand before great God, I will ask him a lot of questions. From now on, I'm just going to put my trust in him and say sorry to the whole world. Although Damas made these statements and pled guilty, he still appealed the decision to the Supreme Court on the grounds that the court erred in declining his request for self-representation. He also alleged that the court improperly weighed factors that he considered repetitive, such as his child's age and his parental relationship with the young children. To drive home his point, Damas questioned the death penalty's constitutionality. He claimed that it violates the 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution because it is inherently cruel and unusual. The Supreme Court, however, held that his grounds for appeal were without merit and reaffirmed the decision of the lower court in January 2019, once again condemning Damas to face the death sentence. Sincerely, for a guy who confessed to his crimes immediately and was caught and pleaded to be given the death penalty, Damas sure doesn't seem eager to die. He had the opportunity to kill himself after killing his family, but instead, he fled the country. And when his death wish was granted, he frantically appealed to have it mitigated. It is easy to see why many members of the public began to speculate that Damas believed that his punishment would be mitigated if he seemed crazy and pleaded for the worst possible punishment. And with that, we have come to the end of the MeechgoHamm Damas case.
No, it ain't gonna. No, you said you deserved a death penalty. Niggas agree with you. Death. What are you talking about? You thought that was gonna fake a boy out? Like, oh, he wanted that? Nah, we gonna give him 8 consecutive life sentences. No, nigga, death.
What do you guys think about this case? Do you have any pity for Damas, who claims that bad spirits are largely responsible for his misconduct? Or do you feel that he got what he deserved? Also, what is your opinion about the death penalty? Is it perfect for gruesome criminals? Or do you think nobody should be sentenced to death no matter the crimes they've committed? Let us know in the comment section directly below. Thanks for tuning in to Twisted Minds.
Listen, do I agree with the death penalty? If you kill your wife and 5 children, yes. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if you was that crazy, you wouldn't have fled the country. You wouldn't have tried to get, you wouldn't have been hiding out. You would have literally just been proud. You would have probably either sat there in shock. Man, I ain't even gonna get into this because I got so much stuff to say. There's too many kids involved. It ain't like you just lashed out and killed your wife on the spot, or killed not even a kid, but because this a kid. But you didn't do this on the spot, like out of anger or out of just like straight shock that she was leaving you. Nigga, you went to Walmart, got a knife and duct tape. The same knife you cutting everybody up with. You're a lame. You're a buster. You deserve a death penalty. You like all of that stuff, man. You made your bed, nigga. Laying it. Facts. We up out of here, though, man. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you like this video. I'm gone. GoHamm TV.